Hi, this is Semi-Serious Gaming, and the mechanic we are going to be looking at today in Path of Exile is looting. Path of Exile is a very complex game, especially when it comes to the economy and the items. With the currency items, it might be confusing for some new players on what you want to pick up and vendor and whatnot. So, this is going to be sort of a priority list on what you want to pick up and what you might want to avoid. Now, top max priority, you want to pick up all currency items. You want to pick up every single one and start stacking them. Now, with the occasional exception of Scrolls of Wisdom and Portal Scrolls, I still pick up every single one, but it's not a big problem if you don't. Now, the rest should be picked up without exception, as endgame crafting uses them in great quantities, and they are all valuable. Even the less obvious ones, such as an Orb of Scouring, are worthwhile and shouldn't be left in the ground. Now, this one is often overlooked by people who are new to the game. You always want to pick up quality skill gems. These lead to a lot of wasted wealth when people don't realize how important they are. Every time you see a skill gem drop, even if it's extremely basic, take a second to hover your mouse over it and check if it has a quality bonus. If it does, no matter how small, pick it up. These sell for high prices as they significantly reduce the number of gem cutter prisms you need to make them perfect, and high-level min-maxers will pay for them. They're also good to use in place of normal ones, even when underleveled. Uniques. Some uniques are better, some are worse, but they're generally helpful to the appropriate build, and sometimes they're extremely powerful. If you see brown text on the ground, don't pass. Even if it's low level, it may come in handy for your next character, or a strange build. There will be someone out there buying the uniques you get, even if you can't figure out how to use them. 3 color links. 3 color links is any item with one socket of each color linked together. They are good because they sell for 1 chromatic orb, in one of the most direct recipes available, so it's equivalent of picking up a rather bulky chromatic orb. Vendor it ASAP and collect your reward. Now we have your high priority ones, and you generally want to pick these up. You have your rares. Most often than not, you want to pick rares up. What you do with them is another issue that I'll discuss in another section, but they're useful material. Identified, they may turn out to be quite powerful and sell for decent amounts, or serve as gear for yourself or your twinks. If they turn out not too decent, then they can be turned into sale recipes to get special orbs, or outright vendored for shards. Left unidentified, they can also net you some orbs thanks to sale recipes. NonQuest skill gems. Many skill gems are awarded as quest rewards for the different classes. Others aren't, and it's a good idea to pick up the ones that can't easily be obtained. You can probably obtain a list somewhere else, but quickly asking on the chat will suffice if you want to find out if they're granted for a quest or not. Having a couple copies of every non-quest gem is always good in case you roll a character that uses them, or a sale opportunity turns up. High links. High links are items with many linked slots. They won't start appearing until late Cruel, so don't worry about this at first. 5 links should be picked up without exception, and if you see a 6 link, you better dive like crazy for it. They're extremely rare. 4 links depends on you, and how much storage space you have. They're rare enough to be convenient, but won't sell for that much. Max implicit items. Some items, especially jewelry, have implicit bonuses. Those are the ones above the horizontal line before the magic stuff. Implicit values are important because they're independent of the rest of the bonuses. So if you tinker with a piece of jewelry or belt, that value will be left untouched, unless you use a special orb for it. This means items with perfect implicit mods have an intrinsic value, as they are perfect tinkering material at any level, for example, to twink characters. Since jewelry doesn't take much space, picking up those 15% gold rings and 20 onyx amulets isn't a bad idea. Medium priority. You may want to pick these up. Magic flasks. It's always a good idea to pick up flasks and identify them, because some of their bonuses are valuable. Surgeon flasks sell for alchemy shards, and the ones that heal minions are decently rare. They usually aren't trade material, as most people seem to manage their own ones, but it doesn't hurt checking them out. Weirdly colored sockets. This might be a personal quirk of mine, but I like checking out the ones that have very unlikely socket colors. This could be, for example, a bow with 4 red slots, or an axe with 5 blues. These proportions are statistically very unlikely, and if there is ever a build that requires precisely that layout, chances are they'll be paying a lot for it. Advanced flasks. The weirder flasks, such as resistance flasks, diamond, and granite flasks, are rare enough to warrant picking up about 5 of each one. If anything, they're good to have around. I'd advise to pick them up until you have 5 of each, then keep them just in case. Now, low priority. You usually don't want these. Whites without good sockets. There's little use for whites without interesting socket layouts. Even if they have quality, there is little point in picking them up, since quality on a white is very easy to apply. Of course, whites with implicit bonuses are subject to the implicit criteria I explained earlier in the video. But other than that, don't pick them up. Blues. Although you may want to identify them and then drop them, they're very common, and picking them up without any criteria will clog your inventory and waste your time in scrolls. This problem is very common with people who are coming from Diablo 3, since they are used to blues being valuable. Here, not so much. However, you might want to pick up blues you might be interested in, and drop a scroll on them to see if they have good mods. If they do, they might be good material for promotion into rares with a regal orb, but since an effective promotion would probably require some exalted orbs too, this is something you shouldn't be doing until endgame. Quest skill gems. Gems that are given as quest rewards are generally trash, unless you need them urgently. Alright, so that's your priority chart. Remember to think about that when you kill a boss and you see all these items on the ground. Or if you're doing a map later game, you need to know this, because you only have 6 portals to get into the map. So you have to actually think about, well, what items do I want to bring out, what items do I want to keep. Have fun.